This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Arizona, welcome to the nastiest Christian radio broadcast in the country. You're going to hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And we don't care who likes it. Thank you for tuning in to Filthy Fridays on Hardcore, today's Bible study, The Pot Plague. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them the radio program's on? A lot of good information about recreational pot today. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. You know me. I've been on the radio for over 21 years. HardcoreChristianity.com is a website. We're located on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. It's a red brick building, downtown Phoenix. Please remember my Sunday morning podcast at 9 o'clock on twitch.tv. Please remember our 2 live services every week, Thursday and Friday nights at 7 o'clock. Please remember our 3 Zoom services. You can get healed and delivered on a Zoom. Monday nights is for the ladies at 6:30, Wednesday and Saturday is for everybody at 6 p.m. Those times are all California Pacific time as well. First Saturday of every month, we have a children's healing and deliverance service. We have a women's seminar coming up on October 19th. That's something, ladies, you will not want to miss. It's going to be awesome, quite literally awesome. And the fourth Saturday of every month, we have a deliverance training class at noon in the small sanctuary at the Arizona Deliverance Center. The pot plague, everybody knows what it is. Who would have ever dreamed in your wildest dreams that the United States would legalize marijuana? It's unbelievable. First it started as medical marijuana, and there are some healing qualities. I use that word healing very loosely. Pain control, pain management with marijuana, that's true. NFL football players smoke it all the time because they all have CTE and chronic joint pain everywhere. The average career of an NFL football player, I believe, is down to 3.5 years now. They got a very short career, and when they leave, they are permanently disabled and have chronic pain the rest of their lives. So they use medical marijuana. Okay, I get that. The danger is recreational marijuana. Believe it or not, 24 states have recreational marijuana. It's on the ballot in November in 4 other states: Florida, Idaho, Nebraska, and South Dakota. But the research is now coming in on pot, and it is damning to say the least. It's been out long enough now that they're researching it, and they're looking at the results of recreational marijuana, not medical marijuana, recreational. That's the real danger. What have they found? There's been valid research studies for everything I'm about to tell you. Number 1, increased highway accidents of death and injury have been caused by legalizing recreational pot. Number 2, increased emergency room visits for drug overdoses in 3 categories: children, students, and adults. Number 3, increases in serious crime. Why is that? Well, the lie they told us before they legalized pot was that, hey, this will wipe out the crime. We won't be arresting everybody with a small bag of pot anymore and getting them into the system. That part's true. They don't do that anymore. And they said, we'll be able to tax it. So it'll be all legal like medications and like alcohol, and we'll just tax it. What they didn't expect, and the idiots that legalized it, what they couldn't see because they're morons, is that the drug gangs came in, the cartels came in. They are now buying up farmland all across the United States, growing marijuana. Why? Because they sell it on the black market and they don't have to pay taxes. They don't have to follow all the government regulations the legal growers have to follow. So they can sell the pot cheaper than a legal grower can grow it because of all the regulations and because of the taxes. The whole system backfired. There's now more crime, not less crime. Number 4, documented research on brain damage in children and young adults from smoking pot. It's now been documented in research studies. Next point, increased tax revenues have come in from legal growers. Guess where that money went? You guessed it. The money's not being used to help our society. It's being used to combat the adverse effects of smoking pot. The money's being spent on addiction centers, health centers, and safety associated with pot. All the money's being spent on how to counteract the negative results of smoking pot. It doesn't go to build schools. It doesn't go to pay teachers. It doesn't go to positive things in our society. We opened a whole new field with the tax dollars that come in from legal growers. The next one, black market sales of other drugs increased because pot has always been and always will be a gateway drug to other drugs. Can you believe this is happening? Well, I think you can. It's happening right in front of our nose. Listen to this. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety and the Highway Loss Data Institute recently released studies reporting that crash rates that include injuries and fatal crashes spiked after legalizing recreational marijuana in California, Colorado, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington. For obvious reasons. People on pot have slower reaction times. They have more difficulty paying attention while they're driving. They have more difficulty maintaining a car in the lanes. They make more errors. Duh. Nobody saw that coming. Oh, it's no worse than alcohol. Pot is worse than booze. Here's why. Not everybody who drinks has a goal of getting drunk. Many people drink and do not get drunk. Many people drink and have a few drinks and quit. The goal of smoking pot is to get high. That's the goal. You don't take a couple puffs off a joint as if it were a cigarette and then put it down or put it out or throw it out. You don't do that. When you smoke pot, the goal of smoking pot is to get high. The research studies are coming in. ER visits have skyrocketed. Deaths, overdose deaths from pot and cookies, believe it or not, have increased significantly. They put pot in cookies, and when they give out the pot cookies, you're not supposed to eat the whole cookie. You're only supposed to eat part of the cookie. But the problem is, kids don't see it that way. If they have one cookie, they eat the whole thing. And there's been a number of overdose situations occurring across the country in emergency rooms. Another problem, employers. Their employees are coming to work high. Another problem, colleges. College students on a routine basis come to class high. It's spreading everywhere in our society like a plague. I guess nobody cares. People in apartment complexes are complaining about it. People down below you are smoking pot. The stench of pot then spreads through the entire apartment complex. Pot is everywhere among homeless communities. Everybody's smoking it, including other illegal drugs in the homeless communities all across the country, in particular in California and New York. Another drawback of pot, China. Gangsters from China who walked across the southern border like they were walking through Target came in and are now buying up farmland in the United States to grow pot using our groundwater to grow acres and acres and acres of pot to sell in the black market, undercutting legal growers. It's happening in half the states in the country. The National Institute on Drug Abuse came out with a report just recently. Adolescents are more vulnerable to addiction. Once they start using cannabis on a regular basis, it becomes a compulsion, interfering with their learning and their memory. One study, 15% of all ages who used cannabis in the past 30 days developed a cannabis use disorder. We now have a new mental illness. It's called a cannabis use disorder, CUD. Rates of this mental illness between ages 12 to 20 were significantly higher than the general population, almost 25% higher. What's happening here? Neuropsychology came out with a report. It's in volume 29, number 6. They said that cannabis users among students and young people, they developed their brains slower, and they did more poorly on cognitive tests. They had memory deficits. The pot is causing memory deficits in young people. This pot is spread everywhere, through homeless encampments, through our employers, through our universities, through our colleges. Gangsters are now selling pot left and right. Cartels from Mexico are selling pot here in America. The lie they told us is this would all clear up. If you have a pot problem, you also have demons. There's no question about it. The demons are in your brain. But you can be delivered. 602-636-5800. If you are suffering from pot, the demons of pot, please come for help now. Your entire future and your brain depend on it. The love of God can deliver you. 602-636-5800. Please call now.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.